This is Doyle. You're listening to Spirit Talk Show, bedtime stories for grown-ups. Thank you for listening. We are continuing our experiment that we're reading stories with cool people. We're doing some personal narratives. We're also reading people's original works. And of course, we're also doing the AI generated stories. We like to have cool people on the show. And tonight on Spirit Talk Show, we have Philip Barth, keynote speaker, author, humorist, and champion of stress-busting strategies. Phil is on a mission to silence those inner voices of doubt and worry, or as he calls them, the chickens that cluck away in our heads. With his signature mix of humor and research-backed strategies, Phil helps. Did I call you Philip in the first time, or did I say?
You can call me Phil, Philip.
Okay, I didn't know.
I'll answer. No problem.
Phil helps audience turn stress into laughter, adversity into growth, and setbacks into stories worth telling. From competing on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire to handing out rubber chickens during keynotes, Phil shows us that resilience doesn't have to be heavy, and sometimes the best way forward is to fry your chickens and laugh while doing it. Okay. Well, thanks. Yes. Well, thanks, Phil, for coming on. And I'm acting like this is the beginning, but we've been talking for 24 minutes. You know,
Doyle, it's nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you. Like, some people could come on and it feels like I get right into just talking. We have a connection and it just feels right. And some people, I've had a few people on that it's like pulling teeth, but, and I've never had an unsuccessful recording where I said, oh no, oh boy, I'm never going to use that. But I think I have everything ready to go. But thank you so much for coming on, Phil.
Thanks for having me.
Your name is pronounced Phil Barth. Is that it?
Phil Barth, you got it.
Okay, oh cool. So I'm Irish, and the Irish have a hard time pronouncing pronouncing the TH words, right? They say this, and thanks instead of thank you. They say thank you. Right, so a name with a th at the end was like, oh my God, I'm going to be calling him Phil Barth, Bart all night without the Barth part.
I've been called worse.
So I usually do lots of research on my guests, and I came across this last piece of research on the end, actually about your experience on the TV show. So I don't know a lot about that. So I want to hear about your. The Millionaire story. So did you get high and then you were bumped back to 32, or did you check out at 32?
No, I made 32, and then I had a $64,000 question. I actually had 2 lifelines left at that point.
Oh God.
Excuse me. And one was a phone a friend, and I actually called a room full of people and nobody knew the answer. And then I took the 50-50 and guessed incorrectly.
So what was the question? So to see if I know it.
So let me set the stage for you first. Okay. I was in high school. I was on our academic team, and my quiz team advisor said, we've got a lot of subjects covered here, but nobody knows Greek mythology. And he told me my whole senior year, you need to learn Greek mythology. And I never did. It never cost me. The $64,000 question was, of course, Greek mythology.
Okay.
And the question was, the term mentor comes from what hero in Greek mythology? And the choices were Oedipus, Hercules, Odysseus, and Achilles. It came from the advisor to what hero.
Okay. Well, would I know that? Okay, so... And you called a room and they didn't know, right? You didn't. Did you do a 50-50? What was your 50-50?
I did a 50-50. So I'm going to tell you, before I took the 50-50, I had this thought in my head. I was like, okay, Oedipus wasn't a hero in Greek mythology.
Yeah, I know. Oedipus got complex.
He's out.
Yeah.
Right. So if I get Oedipus and anybody else, I'm going to be fine because it's not Oedipus. Yeah. And then I thought Achilles had that whole heel problem, so he's probably not a hero either. So if I get Achilles and anybody else, I'll take the other one. Okay. And it left me Hercules and Odysseus.
Well, but Achilles was a hero. I think the point is his only weakness was his heel, right? But he was still a hero, right? Yeah. So it was okay. So the 2 choices left were Hercules and what?
Odysseus.
Okay. Would I know the answer? Okay. I think I would guess Odysseus.
Then you would have been right.
Well, I would have won
You
$64,000.
would have, or more. That's the thing, right?
Oh
I could
yeah,
have gone
okay.
on.
Because the reason I picked Odysseus is because I think of Hercules as kind of an independent. He kind of did his own thing and went his own way. And I don't know if he had a mentor. I think he had did he have his father? But did he have a mentor?
All I know is what flashed into my brain after the two were left was the cartoon Pinky and the Brain,
Okay.
and there was an episode where they helped Hercules, and I thought, well, maybe that's based on some Greek mythology. It wasn't. Pinky and the Brain is not canon.
Okay. So you use Pinky and Brain as your source material for that question.
I use Pinky and the Brain as my source
Wow.
material.
So well, you came out with $32,000.
Exactly.
Wasn't
And I'm sitting backstage thinking, my teacher told me to study Greek mythology and I never did. And I'm beating myself up. And my wife walked back and she said, "Do you realize we just won $32,000?"
Yes.
Holy cow, you're right.
Wow, that's so cool. It's nice that she has that positive outlook on it, because a lot of people would go from we lost $968,000.
Right.
A lot of people, but it's nice that is she like that as a person? Is she always the one to see the positive?
Yes. Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
that's
She's taught me to be that way.
that's great. So you're saying that's not something you naturally would do. You're not naturally someone who sees the bright side of things. Maybe you are now.
I am now.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Wow. Well,
I'm getting that.
cool. So you are a keynote speaker. This is what you do for your career, and a humorist, and you're an author, right? And you have
Right.
these stress like busting. How did the chickens come into it? Like, did someone give you a present of a chicken one time, and you said, "Well,
Yes.
I'm gonna use this in my bit," right?
You are the first person who hit on that
Okay.
in all the podcasts I've ever done. Yeah. So years ago, I was in, well, I still am in Toastmasters,
Yeah.
and they have an annual competition, the World Championship of Public Speaking. So one year, I gave a speech about getting the courage to ask the woman who became my wife, getting the courage to ask her for a first date. And all of the voices inside of my head were telling me, she's out of your league, you're going to get friend zoned, all these things.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the line, I said, what if we made those voices chickens? And so I was talking like I was a chicken and making the pecking, with my head and so on. And it worked. I made it to the finals of the World Championship of Public Speaking. So 20,000 people started out. I was in the final 9.
Wow.
And
Oh.
yeah. And so I said, I've got something here. But it was a few years later that I got called down to, I was working for International Paper in the IT department. They said, we're having our annual innovation forum in Memphis. Would you come down? And I came down, and it turned out they were talking about my speech. And so after my speech, one of the heads of the IT department said, I wanted to give you something. And he gave me a rubber chicken.
Okay.
And that was the very first rubber chicken I had. And eventually I thought, instead of me walking around acting like a chicken, what if I used rubber chickens? And so now when I give a keynote, I toss rubber chickens to the audience. If you give an answer to a question, you get a rubber chicken. People will just get fully engaged if there's a chance to win a small rubber chicken.
I think it's just part of just having something like. We'll talk about the name of your book. It's called. If you want to give the name.
I do. It's called Fry Your Chickens.
Yeah.
And I know we're audio only, but you're on this. See, there it is.
Fry your chicken.
Right?
Isn't there a subtitle though? Like if
Yes.
they
I'm
won't
sorry.
shut
Fry
the-
Your Chickens. 7 strategies to get the chickens inside your head to shut the cluck up.
Yeah.
And that's the whole idea, right? Frequently, we hold ourselves back. Oh, you're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not tall enough. You're not short enough. You're not whatever enough.
Yeah.
And it's all those voices inside your head that are holding you back from achieving what you were meant to achieve in life.
So it's like the negative self-talk that we do.
It is, and if you can kind of make them into little tiny 3-inch tall rubber chickens and think about them that way, then you're willing to throw them out, and that's the whole frying it is get those chickens out of your head. And I had to do that to get on the game show.
Yeah.
I had to do that to get the courage to ask my wife out for that first date.
And she said yes, and you're married quite a few years now because you've got older sons,
Uh,
I saw. Yeah.
yes, that's true. We are. It'll be 35 years next month.
Wow.
In October, rather, 2 months from now.
Wow. Were you like 15 when you got married? Wow, that's a long time. So, but the essence, the
I
essence
love
of
it.
the essence of what you're doing here is these chickens are representing the negative self-talk inside us, and you have these strategies for stress for people to get more to realize that that to try to release the chickens and to not to do that negative self-talk, right?
Absolutely. And stress, that's one thing that really stresses us out is how we react inside and how we react to those chickens inside of us. I also talk for stress is what are you doing with the outside world?
Yeah.
Because you can turn on the news and get depressed about how awful things are.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying disconnect from the news entirely, but I am saying disconnect from optional stress
Well,
and
yeah, for sure.
find what's good in the world.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of news, and I don't look at a lot of Facebook because I don't know. So, but let me ask you, what is the most what's the most common misconception people have about stress management? What would you say?
The most common misconception is probably that you can't that you can eliminate all stress. I think, like, oh, I can stress manage and get rid of it all. Well, you can't. Okay. And
Okay.
that's why I use the word optional stress. Okay. You do need some stress in your life. I mean, you don't need as much as back when we were trying to run from saber-toothed tigers or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
That's but you don't need to turn on the news. Like you said, you don't watch the news. I can get the weather and the things I need without watching 30 minutes of constant negativity and constant stress. And I encourage people to look at what you're doing in your life. I was one of those people that would say, "Oh, well, my flight leaves at 4:30, so I probably don't need to leave the house until 3 o'clock because I can drive like crazy to the airport and just make it just in time."
Oh my
And
God.
that's optional stress,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. That's crazy. Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah, I think I used to be like that, and I think as I got older, I got more strategic in the way that I know what stresses me out. I know I don't like certain noises, so I bring my headphones when I go to bars, and you do things like if I love going to bars and having like a few drinks with friends, but I hate the noise of the bar. So I've discovered
Totally.
if you wear your AirPods in a bar, like you don't hear the outside noises, but you can still hear your friends talking, which I thought was really cool because they isolate
You know,
voices.
that is a great idea. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, so I love that. So, how did this become is this something that you pursued? How did it become your career to be doing guest note speaking and stress management?
So in 2015, I had a heart attack,
Yeah.
and I'm sitting there. How could this possibly happen to me? A couple of stents and put in a couple of stents, and I'm wondering how could this happen to me? There was no family history, and uh, until you got into your upper 80s, which that's not where I was, of course,
Yeah.
and and I was in relatively decent shape, not great, but relatively decent, and I had a relatively good diet.
Okay.
And my doctor said, you need to manage your stress. And I never even realized how much stress. You mentioned Facebook. I mean, that's a good source. Social
Yeah.
media can be a good source. How much stress I was taking on
Yeah.
through work, family, social media, television habits, you name it. And when I realized that, I was like, okay, I need to make changes in my life. And then the next logical step was, okay, I have an audience that I've been talking to on keynotes. I want to help them. I
Okay.
want to show them what I've learned about stress management because this world needs help with stress management.
Okay. I think I'm from a different country. I don't know if you know that. I'm from Ireland, but I think this part of the stresses in this country is how much people work, like you work 9 to 5, you go to work the day after for Christmas, and you have 2 weeks off a year if you're lucky, besides doing the show. I'm a teacher, so I have a lot of time off too. And I've managed my schedule in a way that it's a lot less stressful. And I have people in this country, they work too much. I don't know. Is that a big part of people's stress? Just this constant push for you have to work, work, work?
Absolutely. I mean, with some people, it almost sounds like a badge of honor.
Well, yeah.
I am so busy. I had to work 60 hours last week. And I had somebody say, "Could you come and talk to my group? Because they work 60 hours a week and they're all stressed out." And I'm thinking, okay, do you understand what you just told me?
Yeah.
Why could you possibly guess why they might be all stressed out? Because they're not having time for family, for friends, for the things that really matter. And that was part of where I had to. Here's the funny thing, right? I backed off on some of the amount of time I worked and focused on the top priority items, and I wound up being more effective.
Wow, cool. So we both have like we both have like grown sons. I mean, mine's younger. I think your sons are over 18. It looks like they are. And I
Yes.
think a
Yes.
concern for these kids, and my son is 18, is that they're saying that when you go to work, you're looked down upon if you're getting to leave at 5. The expectation is you stay there till 10 at night. You're working on Saturday, and you're working on, and it's become the expectation is 60, 80, 100 hours a week. And
Yeah.
it's sad. And I'm like in the gay community, especially, it seems like gays after 30, a lot of them, they put themselves so deep into their work that they're working every Sunday, every Saturday till 7 o'clock every day. And I think it's because it's a hard community to find a partner in, and they just bury themselves in work, right? So I think,
Right.
and I don't know how it can't be healthy. I'm sure it's not.
Oh
It's
no.
it has to be. It's killing our kids, and yeah, wow. So you talk about chickens as the voices of doubt and stress. When did you realize what made that like metaphor like resonate so powerfully with people or with you?
Uh, so I kind of fell into it, right?
Yeah,
It was about 2 days before the next level of my competition
yeah,
when I said, you know what? What if I just said these were chickens and made chicken voices? And I delivered the competition speech at you go through levels in Toastmasters, and
yeah.
if you win, you keep going.
I'm
And I
familiar with that.
delivered at that level, and 30 seconds in, people were just dying, laughing. And then when I made my points, they were dead silent listening. And I said, I really have something here
Wow,
with the
it
chickens.
sounds like it. I mean, I watched some of your videos from your website, but wait, we got to back up a little bit. Did you say you do chicken voices? Is that what you just said?
I did it, and I was like, "Oh, yeah,"
Yeah.
and I was flapping my wings and acting like a chicken.
Okay.
I I have since changed that to rubber chickens because everybody loves rubber chickens.
It can't. It makes me think about. I've been a middle school math teacher for years, and one thing I always did in class was called bunny hops. Adding integers. Kids have a hard time. -5 plus 6, and going in. So I always did this thing with ears where I would do bunny hops across the number line, and the kids would roll their eyes, and they're like, oh my gosh, Doyle. And eventually, but then I hear from these kids later on, years later, and they'd say, I never forgot the bunny hops. I never forgot the bunny.
Right.
And integers I knew integers because that's one of the biggest thing that middle schoolers need to know is adding and subtracting integers. And so that's why I had that experience too, where you did something.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean that makes perfect sense. If it's just a raw number concept, it's more difficult to get.
yeah.
If it's the bunny hop, I can see where that would work.
Well, because they would see me and they'd roll their eyes and they'd say, he's at -5 plus 6. The bunny has to hop 6 times, and the bunny ends at like +1. And so and then I'd see them on their like paper doing like finger bunny hops when they're on the paper. So I mean, hey, that's that's how you reach them. So you said your humor isn't just fun; it's strategic. Can you explain how laughter actually helps people remember and apply their lessons, your
Yeah,
lessons?
yeah. So I am very story focused in what I tell,
Yeah,
and the stories I tell have humorous elements, and I try to make it so that the person who's hearing it can picture themselves being the victim of chickens or whatever. And so then when I deliver a funny line, everybody laughs. Everybody's like, okay, you get us. You are there with us. We agree with you. And then in that moment, I can make the point.
Yeah.
Because you have laughed and you are fully tuned in and we are on the same wavelength. And then I make the point. The point can be like, one of them is your ship is not going to come in. If you want it, you have to go get it.
Yeah.
And I have a really good, funny line ahead of that. And then everybody's tuned in. It's like, and here's what I learned. Your ship is not coming in. And boom, they're like, yes, that makes perfect sense. It's like the bunny hop, right? It's like, oh, okay, I get it. We're going up to +1.
So you're burying the lead man here. You're telling me you have these funny stories to do points. So I know I'm like, you have a funny story you can tell us right now that tells us a good point.
Oh,
I'm kind of on your spot here. Okay.
Absolutely. You're so the point. Let's talk about the ship that's not coming in.
Okay.
Right. So I take you back to when I'm in my cubicle at work and I'm sitting there, and I should be working, but I'm actually daydreaming about a coworker, and her name is Beth. And as I'm sitting there, I think, you know what? I really need to ask her out. So I stand up, and the chickens say, "Well, she's out of your league." And the truth is, she was, and you're going to, and they and we're going back and forth, and so I sit back down because the chickens talked me out of it, and then I realize that I need to analyze my life. And so I build a spreadsheet, right? Because I'm a nerd. And I talk about building the spreadsheet. And I've determined that on this earth, I was given no more than 32,867 days. I subtract how many days I've been on the planet. I've got no more than a remainder of 23,509 and a half days, half day because I finished at noon. And so, right. And so I say, that's it. I have to take action. So I got up, I stand up in my cubicle, I look at her cubicle, and I walk straight over to the coffee machine. So right, I'm walking on stage, and then I walk backwards like I'm retreating.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there, and while I was at the coffee machine, guess who showed up? And the audience all nodded. Yeah, it was Beth. And the answer is no one.
No one.
And everybody laughs. And you thought I was going to say Beth, didn't you?
Yes.
That's not how it works.
Yeah.
There is no big, bold, brilliant idea delivery service. Your ship is not coming in.
It's not like the movies.
You have to take action.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, I get it. And then I talk about struggling through because the chickens follow me over to when I'm going to ask her out. And so the whole time I'm like, my elbows on her cubicle wall, and hey, would you like to go out to dinner? And the chickens, oh, that's too formal. You should have said get a bite to eat. And I say, well, get a bite to eat. And you like to eat, don't you? And the chicken's like, oh my God, you called her fat. And so the laughter is there. But at the end of it, she says yes.
Okay.
And everybody's like, okay, I get it.
That would be the great end to that story would be if she's your current wife.
She is.
Oh, she is. Oh, this is the
right?
person that's.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Because then that's at the very end of the keynote. I'm like, okay, a lot of these stories happened a long time ago, but they can still be paying dividends.
Yes.
And I know because 23,509 and a half days later, or whatever the number is, I am married. I say Beth is still out of my league.
Yeah.
We still have three. We do have the 2 kids or 3 kids that I hoped we would.
Yeah.
And we are married.
Wow.
To each other.
To each other. That's good.
To each other. And everybody laughs. And then I say, that's why I know this works.
It's like, well, you could have said we have like 3 kids. Like she has 2 living in Ohio. I have 1 living in New York. But so
right, yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's cool.
We're pen pals. We email every once in a while. No, but that's the whole idea is right. I got the courage. I got the date. We had more dates. We got married. It will be 35 years in October.
Wow, that's great. That's such a great end to that story because because like another story, you hear those great dramatic stories people have, and they always say like, "Oh, this story would be so great if that person was my wife now." Because I've got some great stories, things that happened. My ex-wife, I have some wonderful stories about her, but unfortunately, the end of the story is we're now divorced, and it's not as happy. But there was great ways, she was totally out of my league, like total pretty girl. I thought, no way does this kind of girl ever like me. And then I noticed that she was laughing at everything I said, and I was like, oh, she's finding me a lot like funnier than she really has a right to. And and then we ended up like hanging out together, and I got to the point where I said to her one night, so like, are we dating? And she said, you're such an idiot. I stayed up all night with you. Like, what else do I have to do here? And then we were then we were married 16 years. We have two beautiful kids, and we're friends now. Things grow apart. It's not like it's
Sure.
not like it's a terrible ending to it, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So it's do you we read stories in this show, right? And we actually, and the stories are the kind of AI generated, but then I kind of tweak them up a little bit. So I have a story which I did research on you, and I wrote a tribute story to you and a tribute poem, and I even wrote a tribute play that we can do together if you're into that.
Sure. I'm whatever you want to do.
So, okay, well, let's have you read your little short, tribute story first. Before we do it, though, I realize here I am, 24 minutes in, and I didn't even record my intro because I got so into talking to you. So let me do my intro first.
Okay.
And I might edit that at the beginning, or I might just leave it here in the middle, because I think the beauty of my show is that it's authentic and real, and stutters
I
and
love it.
mistakes and all. So let me just do that. So I'm going to do something here. I'm going to say Doyle, 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 and the reason I do that is because my editing program can find words, and so I can find out where the intro is when I say that. Okay, so let me do my intro. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is you're going to read your tribute story. I'm going to see if I can share the screen with you. And this is the story document here. Can you see that?
Got it. Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can read, and I'm going to teleprompt it like this as we go. It's very short. It's only
Gotcha.
two
Okay.
paragraphs. Okay.
Oh, fantastic. We ready?
Yeah.
All right. So it's the day the rubber chicken saved the room. I remember attending a conference where tension was so thick you could almost see it in the air. Deadlines looming, coffee cups clutched like lifelines, and weary faces staring at slides. Then Phil walked on the stage. Within minutes, he was talking about the chickens of self doubt and stress. But instead of grim lectures, he reached into his bag and pulled out a rubber chicken. The room erupted in laughter. That single moment shifted the energy. People sat up straighter. They smiled at one another. By the end, they weren't just laughing, they were talking about which of their chickens they were going to fry first. It wasn't about the prop, it was about permission. Permission to not take stress so seriously. Permission to see resilience as something joyful, not burdensome. That's the gift Phil brings, the courage to laugh in the middle of life's stress.
What do you think of that
Holy
little?
crap, brilliant.
Hey, I will share this document with you, which has the questions
Oh
I
my
was going to
God, I
ask.
love it.
Some of the questions I planned on asking. It has the question. It has another. It has the poem for you. It's called Fry Your. It's called Fry Your Chickens. That has a script. So we will do that. But let me ask one of the questions I was going to ask. I'm a little bit
Hit me.
I'm a little bit ADHD, so I need to write down my questions as I'm going. But what is one? I wanted to read a question up here. Where is it? What is I say? Okay, many of my listeners are people from the biggest portion of my listeners, and I have about 220,000 people listening, and my camera moved, and about 12,000 subscribers, and the biggest age group is 25 to 45. I mean 20 to 45. So, what's a number one way listeners can lower stress today in a practical, doable way?
Tomorrow morning,
Yeah.
when you get up, take 3 minutes and think about three things you are grateful for. One per minute. I like to do nouns, person, place, thing. And when you think about them, if I think about a person, and let's just say it's my oldest son, Kenny, I think about when he was a newborn baby and holding him.
Hmm.
And I actually mentally go back to that
Wow,
for 1 minute.
that's great.
Think about that. just it will channel so much gratitude, and you do it first thing in the morning, because there have been studies that the way you start your day is the way you live your day.
Wow.
And in 3 minutes, you can wire yourself to be way more likely to have a really good day, and you will lower your stress.
Wow.
Guaranteed.
I think I'm going to give it a try tomorrow, and I hope everybody listening is my little ADHD. I think I need to have focus on a minute of thinking about it. But my own son is actually like moving out this Monday, the Monday that we're recording the show, and I think about the fact that I was holding him. He would he had a hard time sleeping, so I'd hold him till he went to sleep every night,
Hmm.
and I'd lay in his bed every night, rubbing his back till he was about 5, and that was yesterday, Phil. That was yesterday. It feels
Oh,
like it was yesterday.
absolutely.
And then he's this big 6'4",
Same with me.
strong and intelligent, sweet man. And that was yesterday. I was holding him and trying to, get your arm out from under him and not wake him. That kind of like ninja thing that parents do. And but I could say, to be totally honest, I'm kind of barely holding it together because he lived with me like full time since he was 13, and now he's
Yeah.
moving away. So I'm not sure I'm dealing with that terribly well, but.
Well,
Yeah.
and Doyle, I get it, because we've had two of our three move out, and but when you think about that minute where you're holding him,
Yeah.
it's just it takes you back mentally. You are back there, and you are holding that baby, and you are all of those positive gratitude hormones are firing off in your brain, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah, wow.
it makes such a difference.
The first thing I thought about was when he came out of his mom. I remember I was in the room, and he went over the table, and they're cleaning him and crying, crying, crying. And I said, "Hello, Aiden," and stopped crying just like that. He looked right up at me, and that was
Wow.
such an amazing moment. And the doctor said that happens about 20% of the time, where dad just goes over and say, "Hi, Aiden," totally silent and looking up at dad. That was such an amazing moment, and both my kids did
That
that
is
too.
so cool.
Yeah, that's it. So okay, so let's see if we can read your. Do you want to read your poem now?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so I'll teleprompt it as you go like that. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry, my
Okay,
mouse.
it's not a limerick, because I know Limerick is in Ireland, right?
Yeah, it is. Limerick is a town in the south of Ireland on the mouth of the
That's right.
Shannon, and it's but I don't know where.
I've been to Ireland. I've been to Ireland once, and we're going back next year. So
I'm
maybe I
going
have
back.
to look you up.
Oh, I'm going back to two. I'm going in April. How like when you guys going?
We're in June.
Oh, cool.
We're in June.
Hey,
Yeah,
I'll send you some suggestions, places you can't miss.
I would completely appreciate that. All
Okay.
right, here we go.
Okay.
Fry your chickens. The clucking begins before the dawn, a chorus of doubt that lingers on. You're not enough. They peck and they pry, but Phil just smiles and says, "Let's fry." With humor sharp and laughter bright, he turns the stress into feather light. A rubber chicken, a playful grin, and suddenly hope comes rushing in. For in the laughter, fears take flight. The heavy becomes surprisingly light. So silence the chickens, break free and be bold. Your story's still waiting, your heart still gold.
Well, I like that.
It's really good.
I kept
Dang.
got the essence of. I will again. You can I will share these with you, and you're welcome to use it for
Wow,
wherever you want to use it
man.
for. And they're really fun. And it was polished by AI. I kind of started it. The structure from my
Mhm.
research. I said I want this to be in it, and this is the essence of what I want. But then AI finished it, created a
Man, I thought I knew AI, but you're like a master, Doyle. That's impressive.
Well, I've been doing the show this is my third year now, and this started as a kind of hobby, and it's kind of exploded into something else, and
It's
it's
impressive.
it's becoming like a second job now. I was just planning on I'll talk once a week on the radio, and now it's becoming like a second job. So
So,
yeah.
so do you enjoy it?
Oh yes, I definitely enjoy it. I definitely
There you go. That's
my
the key.
my personality type is I need to have something unique and special to do, and I like to travel. I'm working on converting a school bus to drive across country. I have to have a special adventure to do, or my brain will
Love
just
it.
go into my brain will go into atrophy. So let's see if we can ask whether we're gonna do a little play in this a little bit. So, um,
Okay.
how do you personally reset when you have a bad day, or do you even have bad days?
Oh, absolutely. I tell people that in any 30-day month, there's going to be 10% of the days,
Yeah.
3 days that are going to be so good that you couldn't screw them up if you tried.
Yeah.
That's not a challenge. Just there's going to be 3 really good days. And there's going to be 3 really bad days
Yeah.
that no matter what, they're going to be bad days. You just got to win those other 24 and be positive and win the other 24. But yeah, I have bad days. I had one this week where there are those days, right, where you get to about 3 o'clock and you go, you know what? If I'm really lucky and things fall exactly right from here until the end of the day, I'll be back where I started at the beginning of the day because everything hits the fan,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, there are bad days. How do I reset? The next morning when I get up, I go right back to that gratitude practice, to
Hmm.
grounding myself, to spend it, and I have a practice called ABCD. Right? A
Okay.
is my positive affirmations. B is some sort of book or that will raise me up, lift me up,
Yeah.
something inspirational. C is a coffee. I
Hmm.
love a good cup of coffee. And D is dogs. So dogs will reset you like nothing else. We have two Labrador
Hmm.
retrievers, and they are just it's been what when they wake up in the morning, 7 or 8 hours since they've seen you, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, my favorite person in the world! I love you, love
Yeah.
you, love you!" And you feed them dog food, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, dog food! It's my favorite." They're such positive creatures that they will help you reset.
I,
Between that and the gratitude and positivity in the
that's great.
morning, and wiping out that prior bad day,
Yeah.
that's how I reset.
I've got two great dogs, and I know it's like I got this new dog about 3 months ago. Her name is well, I named her Gracie, and she is such a cuddler. She's a sweetheart, and she's like she wants to get in and cuddle with you, and she puts her face next to yours, and she's like this godsend. And my other dog, Luna, is really sweet, but she has these like personality traits which are seem like a little bit atypical for a dog. So, but they're so sweet, and it's like you're on the sofa, and you're like the dog's in that perfect location on the sofa. And you're saying this is so nice, but you want to go to the kitchen to get a drink, and the dogs jump up. It's like, okay, we're in, let's go, and all
Yeah. Oh yeah.
you're walking to the kitchen to get a drink. Damn it, we're in, let's go. Like
Come on. No, no. You were going to get us a treat. Go get us a treat right now.
I've I have this word. If I say and if I play this radio show to my dogs, if I say who, if I just say who, it means and it comes from the sentence who likes walks or who likes treats. That who will cause bedlam. No one is allowed to say the word who
Yep.
in the house.
Yep.
Although it works when they're not listening to me outside too, and I need to come in. I just say who, and they all come running to me because they think they're getting a walk or treat. So that kind of works well. So so. Okay, well, I wanted to ask you this question about what role does music, story, and playfulness play in your like in your own daily routine?
I have, let's start with music. I have playlists.
Yeah,
So I am a child of the 80s. I don't want to date myself, but I am.
me
So I
too.
have 80s playlists. And I have different ones. I have someone I want to just like have something in the background, some nice quiet music. And then I have one playlist that I call Kick Some Ass that is
Yeah.
just upbeat and gets me moving. I love to have music in the background. I have it a lot.
Hmm.
Um, stories play all over the place because as a speaker, if you want to bore somebody, just hit them with statistics, hit
Yeah,
them
yeah.
with numbers. If you want to inspire somebody, tell them a story. That's what we're wired for.
Well,
You
yeah.
go back through history, around the fire.
Hmm.
Everybody told stories. So
That's
stories
great.
play a huge part in my daily routine and in my career. And playfulness, I play all the time. You cannot have two Labrador retrievers
Yes,
and not be playful. It
that's
just
great.
does not work. And
That's
and I always have. I played with my kids. You got to play. You know, the Gary V. Somebody once asked him, "Hey, tell me something that will motivate me," and he said, "You are going to die. We're all going to die. So you better play. You better enjoy the music. You better laugh along the way."
yeah.
And so I just do that every single day.
So I 100% agree. I spent years at like we're working at camp at summer camp, and I was always known as the perpetual kid, the player, the ones who want to be every skit. I want to be in everything. I want to be like rolling around in the ground with the kids. When I did fencing, I didn't just teach the kids fencing. The way I taught the kids was like they would learn fencing, and then I would come in as this evil guy who would fight their instructor, and they'd chase me around the camp, and we'd have sword fights in different like areas of the camp, and eventually they'd all kill me by the lake, and I would fall in the lake, right? So that was such an amazing activity because they would get to do what they came to fencing thinking it was sword fighting, and then they were making them stand in the line and do all that poking stuff. But then it became exactly what they dreamed of. They're chasing a bad guy around camp and having sword fights on the steps of the deck and having in the campfire, and then like on the water dock having sword fights, and then a dramatic death at the end in the lake. So that's,
And they all remember that to this day, I'm sure.
Dude, well, I know some of them now because that was I worked at the camp, and I'm a kid of the 90s too, and the 80s too. And that was in the 90s. I know some of these people as adults, and they always talk about these things. So 100% I'm on board with you there. So let's see. Well, let's do the radio play. Okay, here's the radio.
All right, here we go.
Here's radio play. There's 3 parts because honestly, I thought my producer Howie would be with me, but he couldn't be with me tonight. So we're gonna have to. One of us is gonna have to do 2 parts. There's Phil, the humorist stress buster. That might be you. There's.
Okay, that could be me, yeah.
I gotta push this down because I can't really see. There's anxious employee, overwhelmed worker, and there's chickens, voice actors clucking lines of doubt. So I think you have to do Phil and chickens, right? And I will do the anxious.
I think I was born to play both of those roles.
Okay, so this is scene opens in an office, papers rustling, phone rings, the sound of chickens clucking grows louder. Okay. Oh no, deadlines, bills, meeting. I can't do this.
You're gonna fail. Everyone's watching you mess up. Why even try? Whoa! Sounds like you've got a chicken problem.
Chickens? I don't own chickens. I own stress.
Exactly. Those clucks, that's your doubt, your fear, your negativity. They're chickens. And I've got just the recipe. Squawk! Step 1, laugh at them. Hang on. Sorry.
Hey.
Hang on. Step 1, laugh at them.
That's ridiculous.
Exactly. And when you laugh, you break their power. Step 2, set one small goal and chase it. Step 3, remember, you're the chef here. Fry your chickens before they fry you.
You know what? I think I can do this.
That's the spirit. Now let's fry those chickens.
Curtain and scene. I think it was so short. It was supposed to be a 5-minute play, but actually that was a lot shorter. I loved it. I loved that you brought the chicken out and actually did the chicken. How many? Where'd you get these chickens? Do you have like thousands of them?
Yes, I do. I do. You know, Doyle, I've got this follow-up that I need to do and go into Amazon and see exactly how many rubber chickens I have ordered. I give them away at all my keynotes, and my gut says it's over 1,000.
Are you okay?
You can't see it on, This is an audio-only podcast, but they are on my wall. I have a variety of them. I have a bunch of Santa Claus chickens that go up around Christmas, and I have literally thousands of these small, roughly 4 or 5 inch tall rubber chickens that I give out at my events. And they actually, when I give them out at my events, they have a QR code. And so if you scan the QR code with your phone, it takes you to my website. So they are rubber chicken business cards.
Wow, that's cool. You should send me the QR code, and we could put it in the episode descriptions for this, so people.
I would be glad to.
We could also just put the link to your website, actually.
For that too.
For that matter.
Take a picture of them anyway.
So, what is what's the message you want to give listeners? What's the thing you want to leave them with today?
I wish I could give you all the benefits of my heart attack without giving you a heart attack.
Yeah.
It has given me a new lease on life. Mm-hmm. It has made me look for what's positive in the world, what's positive in my world. It has flooded me with gratitude. I have now these rubber chickens that remind me that those little voices inside my head that are holding me back
Yeah.
are not worth listening to. And every morning, first thing in the morning, I want you to just be grateful and flash back to a really wonderful time in your life.
That's so great. I hope people can learn to do that, especially with the climate that's going on today. It would nice for people
Right.
to be more positive, to be more loving, and to step up for people in kindness. And
100%.
I think that we can do that. And then if we have people our kids' age can possibly, if that can become a norm for you. So your kids and your family, do they buy into all this? Or your boys, or is it like one of those things where like my boys like hear the show and roll their eyes so hard, but are your kids, do they really buy into it and get into this stress relieving
You,
stuff?
you know, at first, I think I get a lot of eye rolls. And I think over time, they were there when I had the heart attack in 2015 and
Yeah,
they saw the changes I made. And I think over time, they're saying, you know what? They're starting to buy into it. Are they 100% bought into it?
yeah.
I don't think I can say that. But are they bought into it at least part way? Absolutely.
They're bought into it in the sense like it's like the bunny hops. They roll their eyes, but then they're always going to remember. And my sons, they roll their eyes and they hear the show, but then they say things like, hey, he says, my oldest son says things like, hey, I'd love to be like you. So someday out of the blue one day. And I'm like, oh, wow,
Hmm.
where did it come from? It's like it hit you in the heart, in the bottom of the heart. And my youngest son, is 14 or 13. He's 13 and I'm still his hero in many ways. And it's just like, wow, it's like, that's such a special time and a special gift that I have. Right. So, wow. So,
Fantastic.
this was such an amazing time with you. I loved, talking to you. You're my kind of people. We could talk for hours,
We could.
but
And I really appreciate you having me on your show.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we'll have it. Are you having anything you want to give the listeners about your work or where to get your work and like where to get in touch with you? You want to give that plug now?
Yeah. philbarth.com is the easiest way. That's got links to my book. It's got,
Yeah.
a section where if I can do anything to help you, just fill out the section and it'll send me an email and we will talk.
Yeah, I'm thinking like what event do I have that I could have Phil come and do a keynote for? What part of the country are you located in? Are you looking?
I am in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay. Well, I used to live in Ohio. I used to live in Columbus and Logan County for a while.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I used to live there for a while. I went to Ohio State for a while, so I know that area.
Oh,
And
nice.
my my ex my ex fiance, who's from Ohio, is like family is from Cincinnati, and that's where they live now, I
Okay.
believe. So that's it's a nice area. I mean, Ohio is so different from California for sure. That's just
Totally.
it's a
Totally.
totally different feel.
But if you got an event anywhere, I have spoken in 3 different countries in Europe this year.
Yeah,
I
wow.
am headed to South Africa later this year. So I love bringing this message to anybody who will appreciate it anywhere around the globe.
Well, I don't want to jinx it, but I'm involved in a big organization that I think would benefit from someone coming in and speaking to them about those voices and the stress and how to deal with it and how to I think there'd be a lot of benefits. So definitely something is rattling around in my head about that. So, and it's a pretty big
Awesome.
organization, so I bet they could afford to get you out here.
I would love to be a part of it. Love to help people fry those chickens.
Okay, I was going to say you threw the chicken. We need one last chicken squeak
Oh,
in the
it's not
mic.
a problem.
Oh, you got
There's
lots of them.
plenty more.
Here we go. That might have people turning off. But by the way, I'm sure you've seen, if you like the chicken stuff, have you seen the chicken music videos where they're singing songs?
It's amazing.
It is
I
amazing. I am so enthralled when when I watch it because they do it so well. It actually sounds like the song.
Yeah, it really does. I want to learn how to do that, and I got one more chicken, and it's you can't see it obviously
Yeah,
since
it's a
it's
long,
audio only,
looks like a
but
4 foot.
it is
Yeah.
it is about 3 feet tall. It's called the Red Rooster of Regret, and that's what I tell people. At the end, you don't want to have any regrets because he is a really obnoxious chicken.
Yeah.
and and I bring him to all my keynotes. He is a global chicken now, and he will squawk for 45 seconds if you squeeze him long enough.
Oh my God.
And the whole idea is don't have regrets in this life.
Have
Fry
you-
those chickens and achieve your goals.
That's great. Well, and your book is available on Amazon. Fry Your Chickens.
Amazon. Yep. Fry your chickens.
Yeah. The chickens that won't shut the cluck up. Right. Give the title of the book. Give the title of the
7
book.
strategies to get the chickens inside your head to shut the cluck up.
So have you had like TSA when you travel, find all your chickens and go, what the heck?
You know, Doyle, it's funny. I've said that. It's like one of these times they're going to, because he's always in checked bags, right? He is too big to fit in a carry-on. But one of these times I'm going to have somebody go, what are you trying to bring into this country? But so far, knock on wood, no.
Well, I have 3 passports because I'm a citizen of the United States, like Ireland and England. And so when I travel, I'm like Jason Bourne with my 3 passports. So that's got me some. And physically, I'm like Jason Bourne too, of course.
Of course, yeah.
But thank you so much for coming on. They do kick me out of this studio here at 8 o'clock. Wow, what time is it? Okay. But I appreciate it. Let me do my outro here. Thank you for listening. This is Doyle, Spirit Talk Show, Bedtime Stories for Grown-Ups. If you guys would like to get involved, go to spirittalkshow.com. And thank you, Phil, so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Well, you paused there like, oh, does he know this is his line now?
I'm sorry. I just had a quick brain fart there.
Oh,
yeah.
it's
Thank you for having me.
You are on a podcast. So, okay. Well, thank you so much, Phil. Okay. Good night.
Thank you.
Thanks for spending time with us. Now go make a story worth telling.